and I want to begin by thanking everyone here in Toronto, firstly, for their hospitality so far. It's been fantastic to see such commitment from our Irish community and our Irish diaspora, so I want to begin by thanking you all for your welcome here today and indeed for attending today's commemoration. We gather at Easter, a time that speaks to the very heart of who we are as Republicans, a time of remembrance, of reflection, and above all, a time of renewed determination. 110 years ago, Irish men and Irish women, ordinary people, stepped forward to do something extraordinary. They rose up to break the connection with Britain, to reclaim their country, and to declare an Irish Republic. Like the generation before them, they rose up to advance the cause of Irish freedom, knowing that it most likely meant imprisonment or death, but they put their communities and their country first. They recognised republicanism was not an abstract concept, but one rooted in fighting back against the poverty, the injustice, and the systemic oppression of their people. They did so knowing that they, as the community, as the ordinary people, and as the voice of their risen generation, could stand up, could fight back, and could change the future. They knew, as we know, that Irish republicanism must be rooted, must be relevant, must be revolutionary, and must be radical in shaping our destiny, in creating a free Ireland, a sovereign Ireland, and a just and equal Ireland for our own families, our own children, and for everyone who calls Ireland home. That vision was clearly set out in the Proclamation of 1916, a promise to cherish all the children of the nation equally and to build a 32-county socialist republic. And the promise, that unfinished promise, still calls us today. At Easter, we remember our patriot dead. We remember the leaders of 1916. We remember every generation since who've carried forward that struggle. And we remember those who we have lost in recent times, comrades, family, and friends. We also honour the enduring symbols of the Easter Rising and of the remembrance, including the Easter lily, created by Commemorate 100 years ago this year and worn with pride by generations who refuse to forget. We remember and pay tribute in a particular way this Easter to their commitment and to the commitment of all revolutionary Republican women in the subsequent generations. But remembrance is not enough. The greatest way that we can offer to remember those who came before us is to take up the mantle of our struggle and to conclude it. Because the proclamation is not a relic, it is our mission statement. And comrades, Ireland is changing. Across our island, the old certainties of partition are falling away, not by chance, but because we are making them. North and South, Sinn Féin is dismantling a system built to keep Republicans out, by leading the four-party executive in the 6 counties, by leading the opposition in the 26 counties, through our Uachtaráin, Mary Lou McDonald. Time and time again, we see in Stormont unionism trying to undermine and to frustrate progress. They are stuck in the past because that is where they are comfortable. That time is the time in which they believed that republicanism was weak. What they have failed to learn is that my generation have grown up in a changing Ireland, one in which we have been raised speaking our own language, playing our own sports, proud of our culture, proud of our heritage, proud of who we are, but prouder still of the generations who laid the path to enable us to enjoy those freedoms. And that is why we must and we will vociferously push back on any and all attempts to cut Irish language funding, to try and stop provision to GAA stadia such as Casement Park, and to proudly assert our right to express and to develop our national identity. A new conversation is underway in our communities, our workplaces, our universities, and across civic society, particularly through the work of Sinn Féin's Commission on a New Ireland. Increasingly, people recognise that the future lies in unity. Progress lies in unity. Deliverable and tangible change lies in unity. This isn't abstract, it's real, and it is happening now. This is the decade in which the question of Irish unity can and must be resolved. But let us be clear, Irish unity will not happen by accident. It will not happen through wishful thinking. We must be prepared for it, we must plan for it, and it must be won. The Good Friday Agreement provides the democratic pathway, referenda north and south, where the people decide. And that is where our sovereignty lies, with our people. And while that decision belongs to the people of Ireland, Irish communities abroad, including those here in Canada, remain part of our national story. Your engagement, your voice, and your solidarity matter. To achieve that unity, we need the continued support of Irish communities across the world, the pressure on governments, on business, and on civic society more broadly to build a positive and a concerted momentum for change. A momentum to allow those who call Ireland home to democratically and to constructively build a new and a united Ireland. In the coming years, we face elections which have the potential to change the future of Ireland forever. Elections which can push us to securing a unity referendum, and we need your help in that. As Bobby Sands famously said, everyone, Republican or otherwise, has their own particular part to play. No part too great or too small. No one is too young or too old to do something. So, in whatever way you can, small or large, please play your part in nation building and shaping the change that we all want to see. As we look towards the future, we must also confront the realities of today. Across Ireland, too many people are struggling. We see it in rising energy bills, in under pressure public services, and in growing inequality. Too often, governments have failed to act in the interests of ordinary workers and of our families. We see it in the housing crisis, families forced and locked out of home ownership, and renters facing soaring costs. But the promise of a republic demands more. It demands that we build an Ireland that works for everyone. That means affordable homes, it means strong public services, it means fair wages, and it means an economy that serves the many, not the few. Our goal is simple, but it's powerful: to make the promise of 1916 resonate for ordinary people in their lives. We see it most acutely, as many of you here today see it and have experienced it, in our young people emigrating, building a life outside of Ireland, too often through economic necessity rather than through choice. We see it firsthand in the pain that many families see with empty seats around the table at Christmas, at missed birthdays, at family gatherings. And we learn so much from the history of Irish immigration to Canada, a story which predates An Garda Mór, but one which often tells the story of Ireland's difficulty. But we must now invert that narrative and use the old adage that England's difficulty is Ireland's opportunity. We must counter the rise of fascism, of isolationism, of the lack of hope in Britain, with a clearly articulated, positive and progressive vision for a new Ireland, one which reaches beyond our traditional base and which imbues a sense of hope in our community for a better future. For years, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have left generations no option but to leave Ireland. We believe in a new and a united Ireland, a place where emigration is a choice and the route home is clear. We want this generation to return home with all their experience and with all their expertise. But we know too the vibrancy and the continuity of experience, of politics and of struggle that emigration brings here in Toronto and across Canada. Increasing numbers of my generation have emigrated to Canada too, and that brings new opportunities. Opportunities for us to sustain and grow the role of republicanism here in Canada, demanding referenda on the future of Ireland and carrying the flame for generations to come. And it would be remiss of me today not to mention your dear friend, Sean Hart. Speaking to those in Sean's home in Tyrone, and particularly to his friend Declan McAleer, it's clear that Sean had a huge and an enduring impact on those both here in Canada and in Ireland, and who dedicated so much of his life to building our movement and to continuing the struggle for Irish freedom. Sean embodied our vision. At Easter, we remember him, and we remember all those who have dedicated their lives to the cause of our republic. In the North, change is also underway. For the first time, we have nationalist leadership at the heart of government, with Michelle O'Neill serving as First Minister, an historic milestone that reflects the changing political landscape. But progress remains contested. Political institutions are limited, key economic decisions are controlled in London, and too often progress is delayed or obstructed. This is the reality of partition, and it underlines a simple truth, that the case for Irish unity is not only constitutional, but it is also practical. A united Ireland means decisions for Ireland must be made in Ireland by the people of Ireland. It means an ability to shape our own economy, invest in our communities, and to plan for the future. And it means building a country that works better for everyone, because there is no going back. We also live in a changing and an uncertain world. Conflicts are escalating, international law is too often ignored, power is too often exercised without accountability. Ireland's voice in the world must be clear and it must be consistent. We stand for peace, we stand for diplomacy, and we stand for the rights of nations to self-determination. Irish Republicans have always understood that our struggle is part of a global struggle for justice. And so we stand in solidarity with people striving for freedom and for dignity in Palestine, in Cuba, and those facing illegal occupation and oppression elsewhere around the world. The generation of 1916 did not wait for change. They made it happen. They organised, they led, and they believed. That responsibility now rests with each and every one of us here in this room. There is real momentum for change, but momentum must be built upon. It must be organised, strengthened, and turned into action. That means building our movement. It means growing participation, engaging communities, and preparing for the democratic moment that lies ahead. So today, here in Toronto, we honour those who came before us. We draw strength from their courage, we take inspiration from their vision, and we commit ourselves to finishing their work. Our goal remains unchanged: a united, sovereign Ireland, a republic of equality, of justice, and of opportunity, a nation that cherishes all its children equally. That future is within reach, but it will not be handed to us. Let us build, let us organise, let us win it, and we know that we will. Gormaigh.